Hello everyone, this is the Loco Possum, and welcome to The Workshops, where I will go over the building process of my models. So anyway, hope you enjoy. Due to the three models all being Gem Vari kits one way or another, I may as well combine all three of them together to save effort, and also because they are sort of a trio within my roster, so it's the least I can do. Gubin was the first of the three to be built. Originally, I wasn't planning to have a Gem Vari in my roster, because I actually didn't own any narrow gauge stuff at the time. But I saw a listing on eBay for a really cheap Vari with the chassis and being built, so I thought I may as well. When it arrived, however, I noticed that the chimney popped off and it just looked really bad. I chalked it up to being just a model being cheap, so I didn't really think much about it. For a while, Gubin was pretty much a static model, because I didn't have any narrow gauge track, nor did I know how expensive the chassis would be to order. Painting wise, it was a little messy. At that time, I have not painted a single model, so he was more or less my starter engine, which, yes, it is bad because Gem Vari kits are expensive and rare, but I got him for like 30 quid roughly, so you know, whatever. After he was painted, I thought that would be the end of it. Simple, random background engine. But eventually I started getting in the mood for narrow gauge stuff, so I thought this engine may as well be my flagship because he's my first narrow gauge engine, plus he's a Gem Vari. Everyone loves Gem Varis. A bit too much, but it's a Gem Vari. I decided to go with the name Gubin because I actually didn't have a name for him. At first I was just looking on Google for random names. Everyone does that. You're lying if you don't. And I found Gubin with 2 B's, which obviously meant Gubbins as in random nonsense. I don't even know them. I forgot. But I didn't like that name because the 2 B's made it seem like he was a piece of junk. So I just removed a B, and then we got Gubin, or as what a few of my friends say, Gubin. So I mean, it's either or, whichever. He doesn't mind, I don't care. So that was his name done. Then I decided to give him another repaint, just because I've picked up on painting and he looked a little bit worse for wear compared to my other models. And it turns out the spray I bought wasn't clear coat. It wasn't satin, it wasn't varnish, it wasn't anything. It was adhesive glue. Yes, the first model I bought, painted and restored had adhesive glue as its clear coat. If I was to tell you how many times Numpty Poodis has taken the mick out of Gubin for wearing adhesive glue, I would probably have enough money to buy 5 more Gubbins. It has turned into an inside joke, to the point where it's actually canon in some aspects to the Mordig that Gubin had glue as his clear coat. So I guess now everyone knows Gubin the clear coat engine is official. Other than that, Gubin's pretty standard. Eventually I ordered his nameplates from Narrow Planet, put them on, gave him his actual clear coat with satin spray, and he's just existed. For some reason, he's one of my best runners, compared to Dor and Blanche, only because I had another Vari, which was an Impulse. Again, I love my Impulses, I guess. And I decided to switch their chassis because the engine I bought had black wheels and Gubin had red. The livery I had in mind for Gubin, ever since I made him, was that he had an unlined green livery, nameplate on his coal bunkers, and black wheels. Since that Vari came with black wheels, I thought may as well. Turns out, that chassis had some drugs in it, I don't know, because it has not stopped, it has not broken down, it has never needed oil, and it's like my strongest chassis that I put on a Vari. So, Gubin has obviously taken the flagship role more than he has already. And that's Gubin. Nothing much to say about him, he's just the easiest out of 3 to talk about because he's just a repaint, so I suppose we shall move on to the next engine. Stryx is a number 2 of the Mordigan Riverbank. He wasn't supposed to exist at first because he was bought as a joke on an eBay bid, but I actually didn't mean to win that because there was a lot of people bidding, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna put in like, you know, an extra £1.50 to see if I could win it, and I won. So Stryx just kind of laid there for a while on my desk in pieces until I decided to send the model off to my friend, the one with the Varies that got me to buy Gubin, because, you know, I felt nice. I'm such a nice little creature. The reason I sent him off was because I wasn't skilled enough to make kits, and from all the horror stories I've been told, starting on a Vari wasn't a good idea. So, off he went. A couple weeks went by, and I started building kits. So, I thought I was ready enough to make a Vari. So I paid for the bail, model came down, and I started work on Stryx. It's really not that hard to explain about what happens to a Vari, because you just gotta kind of put the tanks on, pick the details you want, and that's the Vari. But with Stryx, I wanted to make him as complex as possible, because all the Varies I've seen beforehand had either 1-bit, 2-bit, and then just called it a day, like it was either or. I decided to combine both of them. So, if you can see Gutman next to Stryx, you can tell which one's probably been more favoured in their build design. At first, Stryx didn't have a proper livery. He was just kind of the engine that was going to replace Gubin. But whilst I was painting him, I was listening to music, and something Shadows came on, you know, from Sonic. And I just kind of looked at the model, and I was like, well, I'm painting him black anyway, so why shouldn't I make a Shadow Vari? So I finished off his black livery, gave it some trimming, and I painted his side plates red, like Shadow. Literally, Stryx is just Shadow. He is a Shadow train thing. That's it. That's Stryx. He is the edgy version of Gubin, the Shadow to the Sonic. Until I decided to reboot him, and I gave him a proper design, which was the number 2, his name on the back, and he wasn't Shadow anymore. He had the livery, obviously, because, come on, that's a really nice livery. But personality-wise, at first he was just Shadow, and now he's more of like a silver. That doesn't really explain much because I still need to do my voice lines for him, but yeah, that's Stryx. He's my weird little emo boy. The Aegis was probably my most ambitious project to date. I didn't mean to make her, but at the time, it was probably very necessary. Aegis Mark I was an utter mess. She did not look narrow gauge, she was completely underscaled, and you can clearly just tell that I put no effort into her. So, whilst I was volunteering at the model exhibition at Club, I went off to look around and buy something, and I saw 2 Gem Vari kits sitting for about 20 quid. So I went and grabbed them thinking, oh, I can just make 2 Varies. No, I opened them up when I got home and they were missing their boilers and their tanks. Fuck. Obviously, I kind of expected that something will be missing because a Gem Vari kit at £20 price, satisfactory. And then I just kind of didn't do much with her, because if there's no boiler, then there's no engine. One of the kits did get sold to Numpty because I didn't really need 2 unbuilt Vari kits. And also the one I gave him didn't have the chassis that was compatible with my wheel set, so it was kind of, you know, I had to. I kept the other one because I had an idea. A while ago, I decided to start building a Gem Douglas kit, but it sort of fell apart, and I didn't have much of a use for 90% of it. I noticed that people use different boilers from other kits to make a kit bash, so I thought I can do the same with the Vari and Douglas, because the boiler was intact, just not the rest. So I just started compiling a random everything. I grabbed the Douglas boiler, the saddle from my Dante kit, we love Dante, and just anything I could find on my desk. After a bunch of struggling and falling apart, I finally got something. It was a very interesting Vari, but it worked, it stayed together, and I could fit the original chassis in without any interference. After giving her some paint and just making her look more presentable, I decided to show her off at club because, well, she kind of needed a run, and I haven't actually been able to test at that time if she was too heavy, and she ran well. Everyone liked her, everyone was questioning how she was built, and there was just a lot of praise for Aegis. So I obviously decided to add her to the canon of Mordig. The Aegis is not actually a proper Vari. She is under the same construction company as both Gubin and Stryx, but she is her own class. Her class is called the Center class, which is basically a chubbier version of the Varies. In preservation, Aegis is the only center to be preserved, because I had the ingenious idea to say that Aegis was a sole survivor, because they were just glorified chunkier Varies, which, yeah, they kind of are, but we kind of need to give Aegis a sister now, don't we? I'm not doing that, someone else can. Now that all 3 Varies are built and are in a presentable condition, I decided to start showing them off, because 3 Varies? Why not? A couple of weeks ago, as of recording this, I decided to send Aegis, Gubin and Stryx off to the Numpty Railroad Company, so he can play around with them and start recording for his audio story. Whilst there, he decided to touch up all of the engines because I guess he just kind of felt like it. So eventually, all of the engines got nice shiny brass fittings, and Stryx got his details rewritten. They also decided to come home with a Jeanette kit, so I assume Gubin roped his siblings into committing a bit of theft. I am not liable for whatever happens to that Jeanette. So, that was the 3 Varies. There is one more that I would be talking about, but she is part of a different railway, and that would kind of mingle up the operations I've got. Maybe one day I'll talk about Rita. But for now, thank you for watching. Everyone say thank you to Super Duper for motivating me to do another one of these videos because of free mention, and I shall hopefully see you again for another one of these workshop videos. This is a Loco Possum, signing out.